Hand-drawn art provides 2D side-scrollers with a timeless visual quality. From fluid frame-by-frame character animations to elaborate painted backgrounds, this aesthetic requires meticulous effort and produces striking results. As any artist can tell you, anyone can do realistic visuals, but creating your own style and keeping it consistent is a true mark of an artist. So in the artistic spirit, here are the top 10 best hand-drawn 2D side-scroller games that you must play. Cuphead 2017. Released in 2017 by Studio MDHR, Cuphead stands as a benchmark for hand-drawn video game art. The developers meticulously recreated the iconic rubber hose animation style of 1930s cartoons, with every frame of character animation being drawn and inked on paper before being digitized. While the game's textured, varied environments were painted using traditional watercolors. The visual presentation is paired with an original, high-energy jazz and big band soundtrack that matches the variety of the chaos happening on screen. Beneath its charming aesthetic lies a difficult run-and-gun game heavily focused on boss battles. Players control Cuphead or Mugman, and also later Miss Chalice in the delicious Last Force expansion. You have to venture through the lands and fight everything you come across in order to repay a debt to the devil. The core gameplay is all about dodging complex enemy and bullet patterns while constantly firing in the hopes of hitting something. You can customize your playstyle by purchasing different shop types and charms from an in-game shop, bringing some change and customization to the gameplay. But the best part of this game is the bosses here, with a total of 40 bosses, each with multiple stages and unique gameplay, and all of them beautifully drawn and animated fluidly with multiple animation states. It is truly a work of art. Rayman Legends 2013. Released in 2013 by Ubisoft Montpellier, Rayman Legends utilizes the proprietary UbiArc framework engine. This technology allowed the developers to drop hand-drawn assets directly into the game without compressing or losing the original artistic detail, which results in a sort of moving painting type of visuals. Players must navigate through different, discrete, and varied stages, ranging from medieval castles and mythical Greek mountains to underwater stealth spaces. The character sprites feature fluid, exaggerated animations that give Rayman, Glowbox, and Teensies clear, expressive, and very cartoonish personalities. The best stage in the entire game is the iconic Castle Rock stage, where Rayman runs through a burning castle and everything moves to the beat of Rayman's rendition of Black Betty by Ram Jam, where the developers mapped every enemy placement and jump arc to the drum fills and guitar riffs, turning it into basically an interactive music video. It's an experience that not even rhythm games can capture. The game isn't just music-focused, as it has combat-focused levels and puzzle-focused ones with large rotating maze platforms and large sprawling maps. The game supports up to 4 players in local cooperative mode with platforming controls that are responsive and momentum-based, with you running, jumping, gliding, and punching your way through fast-paced levels. Hollow Knight 2017. Released in 2017 by Team Cherry, Hollow Knight essentially redefined the gaming landscape. It was a game of such depth and quality that it became mainstream, going platinum and outselling AAA studios. One could even argue that it brought about the indie and retro renaissance we have today, where even AAA corporate companies are reinvesting in new 2D classic games. The game takes place in Hollow Nest, a ruined underground kingdom populated by insectoid characters. The developers sketched and animated every sprite and background by hand, creating a cohesive visual style that uses multiple parallax layers and blur effects to give the 2D caverns a sense of scale and perspective. Even though the entire game is underground, there is still a variety of environments that are extremely detailed and have personality, from the deep blue and constant rain of the City of Tears to the somber but life-filled Queen's Gardens. to the bright and glittering hive. The gameplay builds on the Metroidvania formula, requiring precise platforming and combat, navigating interconnected areas, and unlocking traversal abilities like the Mantis Claw and Monarch Wings. Combat requires strict timing to dodge enemy attacks and manage your soul meter, which powers both healing and spells. Guacamelee 2, 2018. Released in 2018 by Drinkbox Studios, Guacamelee 2 returns to the Mexican folklore-inspired Mexiverse. The game has a striking construction paper-like angular 2D art style, with characters and environments that are incredibly textured and looking handcrafted. Powered by a new rendering engine, the sequel elevates the original's visual identity with painterly and dynamic color palettes, dynamic lighting, and incredibly detailed backgrounds. Players once again play as Juan Aguacate, a retired luchador who must travel across alternate timelines to stop a rogue wrestler from destroying the multiverse. The art direction really shows off when Juan dimension shifts, seamlessly swapping the color palette and environmental details between the lush land of the living and the high-contrast, neon-like land of the dead. The gameplay flawlessly blends Metroidvania exploration with combo-heavy beat-em-up combat, with your traversal abilities like the Rooster Uppercut or the Frog Slam, also doubling as devastating fighting attacks. This system encourages you to build up massive combo chains, juggling waves of skeletal enemies to build your meter and unleash super moves. The sequel here expands on the original's mechanics, most notably by fully fleshing out Juan's ability to transform into a chicken. This poultry form, get it, now features its own skill tree, its own attack patterns, and has its own challenging platforming gauntlets. Child of Light 2014. Developed by Ubisoft Montreal using the same UbiArc framework as Rayman Legends, Child of Light looks like a moving watercolor painting. The narrative follows Aurora, the young daughter of an Austrian duke. After falling mysteriously ill, she awakens in the ruined kingdom of Lemuria. To return home and save her ailing father, she must defeat the Queen of the Night, who has stolen the sun, the moon, and the stars. The presentation is the quintessential fairy tale storybook style with painterly high fantasy aesthetics, and all dialogue is written in traditional ballad rhyme scheme. The gameplay mixes 2D platforming exploration with turn-based RPG combat. Aurora learns to fly early in the campaign, letting you freely navigate the multi-tiered environments. Beyond basic flight and platforming, navigation involves solving environmental puzzles by using your Firefly companion Igniculus to illuminate dark areas or trigger light-activated switches. Combat uses an active-time battle system that's a hybrid of rhythm and turn-based combat. During combat, each character has a waiting and casting period, and you can only attack during the casting period, and different attack types have different waiting and casting speeds. Dust: An Elysian Tale 2012. Released in 2012, Dust: An Elysian Tale is an action RPG solely developed by Dean Dodrill. He hand-drew and animated the game's worlds and anthropomorphic characters. The story begins when the protagonist, Dust, awakens in a forest with no memory of his past. He is soon joined by a sentient weapon named the Blade of Ara and its flying guardian, Fidget. Together they travel across the land of Falana to uncover Dust's true identity. He eventually discovers his direct connection to General Gaius, a military leader conducting a campaign to wipe out a race known as the Moon Bloods. Dust must navigate the moral weight of his past while fighting to stop the ongoing conflict. The backgrounds are painted beautifully, and the multi-layered parallax really makes it stand out from other games. The character designs look like they're from a mid-2000s cartoon, like a mix of Winx and Neopets. The gameplay combines Metroidvania exploration with fast-paced hack-and-slash combat mixed with Fidget's magic projectiles. You can use Dust's spinning attack to catch these projectiles and turn them into large magical storms that damage multiple enemies at once. As you explore the interconnected map, you unlock new movement abilities to access hidden areas, find stat upgrades, and complete side quests for the local villagers. Shantae Half-Genie Hero 2016. Released in 2016, Shantae Half-Genie Hero is a major visual transition for the long-running series, moving away from classic sprite work. WayForward changed to a new HD hand-drawn art style. Shantae, her pirate nemesis Risky Boots, and the various enemies are rendered with smooth, expressive 2D lines that pop against the game's dynamic 3D backgrounds. This 2.5D visual presentation gives the world of Sequin Land a lively Saturday morning cartoon aesthetic. The gameplay is best described as light. It combines fun platforming with Metroidvania-style exploration. You play as the titular Half-Genie hero Shantae, using her signature hair whip attack and belly dancing magic to battle enemies and solve puzzles. The core mechanic revolves around finding magical dances to transform Shantae into different creatures, such as a wall-climbing monkey, a heavy-smashing elephant, or a swimming mermaid. These transformations allow you to backtrack through previous levels to uncover hidden areas, health upgrades, and collectibles. The music of this game is also very famous and iconic, and the combination of the visuals, music, and fun gameplay creates a fun vibe that'll get you lost in the game, and you won't notice the hours slipping away. Ender Lilies, Quietus of the Nights 2021. Released in 2021, Ender Lilies, Quietus of the Nights is a dark fantasy Metroidvania featuring a haunting hand-drawn aesthetic. The game takes place in Land's End, a ruined kingdom destroyed by a cursed rain that turns living creatures into undead monstrosities. The visual design contrasts the grim, decaying backgrounds with a bright, clean design of the protagonist, Lily. The amazing 2D animations alongside the somber pianos and strings of the soundtrack bring this desolated world to life. The gameplay centers on a combat system where Lily does not attack directly. Instead, she summons purified spirits of fallen knights and defeated enemies to fight for her. You can equip multiple spirits simultaneously, allowing you to chain together fast melee strikes, heavy club swings, and ranged magic attacks. You'll have to experiment with different spirit combinations to find synergies and create a combat style to overcome increasingly tougher enemies. As this is also a Metroidvania, you'll be exploring an interconnected map, defeating major bosses, and collecting new traversal abilities like double jumps and underwater swimming in order to reach new places. It's a new take on a tried and true genre and aesthetic. While most games in this category focus on despair and death, Ender Lilies has a fresh focus on beauty. Monster Boy and the Cursed Kingdom 2018. Released in 2018, Monster Boy and the Cursed Kingdom acts as a spiritual successor to the classic Wonder Boy series, and it was developed in direct collaboration with the original series creator Ryuichi Nishizawa. The highlight here is the professional animation. Everything from idle animations, run cycles, jumping, swimming, attacking, etc. All of it features hand-drawn professional animation that looks like a cartoon or anime. The gameplay revolves around a fluid class switching system within an interconnected Metroidvania-style map. You play as Jin, who has been cursed to transform into 6 distinct animal forms: a pig, a snake, a frog, a lion, a dragon, and a human. You must dynamically swap between these forms on the fly to solve environmental puzzles and battle enemies. For example, the pig can sniff out hidden secrets, the snake can slither through mosey crevices, and the frog can swing from hoops using its tongue. Combined with a robust equipment system where hidden armor pieces grant unique passive abilities, it offers a varied and satisfying platforming and combat experience. I also have to give props for the beautiful environmental effects. I love the way lights and lighting effects are painted onto all the elements. Ori and the Will of the Wisps 2020. Released in 2020 by Moon Studios, Ori and the Will of the Wisps is a visual achievement. Although it is a 2D style game, the engine, objects, and game rendering are done completely in 3D, allowing for every fluid animations and amazing lighting and particle effects. However, these 3D models are seamlessly layered onto thousands of hand-painted 2D background assets. The team even hand-drew thousands of individual light maps so the dynamic lighting would interact naturally with the painted environments. The result is the most jaw-droppingly beautiful and technically impressive game on this entire list of beautiful games. The parallaxing background elements use a mix of silhouettes, bokeh, and blurring to make the world feel far vaster than it already is, and dynamic lights and shadows in the backgrounds alongside moving elements make the backgrounds feel alive and part of the world instead of being backdrops, which many 2D games struggle with. The gameplay here is one of the best in the Metroidvania genre, placing a heavy emphasis on acrobatic movement. As you explore the giant interconnected world of Niwen, you chain together dashes, double jumps, and a grappling mechanic to navigate perilous environments without ever touching the ground. The hand-drawn aesthetic is one of the most difficult to pull off, as every asset needs to be made with attention, love, and care. And with games requiring hundreds of assets, it's incredibly difficult. That said, when it is pulled off, it creates some of the most beautiful and timeless aesthetics any game can achieve. All the games on this list can be considered works of true art. You can take screenshots of any of them and hang them in an art gallery. It is just that good.